Hello and welcome to Pitstop, dear viewers. What you see behind me is the Mercedes EQS. And this is not your regular EQS. Not that there is a regular EQS. It's a phenomenal piece of machinery and the flagship sedan in the EQ range of Mercedes. But this one has been fettled around by AMG, which is the performance division of Mercedes-Benz. So what is this AMG-tuned EQS really like? Let's find out. When you get into the Mercedes EQS, and this is the AMG model, mind you, it feels like you have arrived in the future. You sit in a cabin that is definitely something from outer space, at least when it comes to comparing it with things that we have right now in the market. And this just shows you what the future is going to be like. It's absolutely fantastic. It feels like almost a discotheque in here. There is so much of an action going on with lights and all the other drama that you have. And the hyper screen. It is not only a great infotainment system, it does not only offer you great menus, sub-menus and everything of that sort, but it is also the car's brain. Now, this of course is the electric AMG, and this is the full-blown model. It has got, near as makes no difference, over 1000 Newton meter and of course 750 bhp. But that surge of torque is available to you right as you step on the throttle. And that translates into a build-up of speed, which is absolutely mind-bogglingly addictive and extremely uncanny in the way it makes you feel and go back in the seat. And it's not even the fastest accelerating EV that we have driven. This, however, is just completely addictive and it just makes you smile in a massive way. Now the EQS, the AMG EQS, that is the 53, retains the 108 kilowatt hour battery that you get with the standard EQS as well. But what AMG has done is it has changed the windings of the motors, and they've also altered the inverter, and they have changed the cooling system on this car. So what you get is performance which is very different from the standard EQS, and the discharge rate of the batteries is very different from the standard one. So that is why you get that performance and you get that massive AMG experience. So the discharge enables you the performance, but it also robs you of the range a little bit. The EQS also comes with four-wheel steer, so the rears also steer. It goes in the opposite direction to the front wheels when you are at slow speeds, and it turns in the same direction as the front wheels as you pick up the speed and start going for it. So of course that's to aid stability and also the dynamic cornering abilities of the car. And the rear wheels can turn to about 9 degrees, and that may sound less, but in reality, when it works together with the front, it changes the way the car can change directions. In fact, I won't be surprised if it has the turning circle of a very regular mid-size sedan at best. And when you pick up speed, that's when the rears are going to be in sync with the front, moving in the same direction, because then you get the stability and the agility that you want. The EQS 53 is a four-wheel drive model, and the latest 4MATIC system, which this one has, is very intelligent, and it calculates the torque delivery in the motors 10,000 times in a single second. So imagine the kind of craziness that is happening at the computing level. And that is what determines how much of a torque supply is needed to any of the wheel that needs it. So imagine a situation where you have a little bit of slip at any of the corners of the car. The calculations are going to be ferocious, 10,000 times per second, as I said. And then the system is going to recognize how much torque is needed to be sent to which wheel. And that's just crazy when it comes to engineering, and it's just mind-boggling what Mercedes and AMG have been able to achieve with this four-wheel drive system. And what about the general driving experience? First of all, I love the steering wheel. not only its size and the way it feels in your hand, but also the feedback. And this thing, when you get into the Sport Plus mode, just changes personality in a big way. In comfort, it is still pretty communicative. It's also what people would call slightly hefty. But when you get into the Sport Plus mode, everything changes. The noise changes. And of course, this is all artificial, but it just becomes a bit louder in here, and everything just starts to talk to you a lot more intimately. In terms of chassis balance, this is actually pretty neutral. We've been trying to get this car into a state of understeer or a state of oversteer just a little bit, but it hasn't really gone out of control. And that essentially tells you two things. One, the flatness of the chassis or the rigidness of the chassis is very on point, and the rear wheel steer just works its magic all the time. And this thing is also very stiffly sprung. The dampers, yes, it's all adaptive, and it also has air cushions on the airbags. So it's air suspension. You can raise it up if you have some very big speed bumps. But generally, this suspension is a great balance and a great compromise, because while it just enables you to have that much of fun with this car, it is also pretty comfortable. You're never going to feel like this, being a completely performance-oriented model, is going to break your back. You're not going to feel that at all. And there is another very cool graphic that I've already spoken about. But when you get into the energy flow graphic, by pressing onto the AMG option that you get in the menu, you can see which motor is working. Like right now, we are not even doing 40 kilometers per hour, but it's only the rear motor that is driving the wheels. And then the moment you step on the gas a little, the front also kicks in, and that's when both the motors are active, and they're taking all the juice from the batteries and supplying power to all the four wheels. Get off, and then you have the recuperation kick in. And this thing deserves just a separate chapter of explanation. I've been driving the EQS 53 in the strongest region mode, and there is no other word for it. It's addictive. It enables you one pedal driving, and you have to either go up or down these paddles to change the modes as well. Very strangely, when you use the up paddle, you go down the recuperation and you get lesser and lesser of it. Right now we are in normal, and then you pull it once more, it has no recuperation, so you just coast along. And then when you pull the down paddle, you go up the recuperation, and you press it twice basically to get the strongest region happening. This is the EQS, so it's going to be very stupid of me to even talk about features. This gets everything and more. And because this is the S of the EQ range, it is going to be more comfort minded, and that's where you get these beautiful seats. You get a lot of space as well. Two tall people sitting one behind the other, not a problem at all. The quality of the cabin is also sensational. I did not expect there to not be any rattles or squeaks, because this is an important model. It's been thrashed. It's a performance model, runs on 21-inch wheels, very low profile tires. So I expected this to have squeaks and rattles going on. Not a single thing. And that is beautiful, because the experience of an EV when you're sitting in the cabin is anyway extremely silent, and all these little squeaks or rattles, if they happen, it just gets amplified because of the silence of the car generally. So the Mercedes-AMG EQS 53, what is it? It's a beautifully addictive car, and looks are subjective. I'm not really going to go over there. I think still the Audi GT looks much better. It's possibly the best looking electric car out there, but this one is extremely sleek, and it has that svelte feel to it. It also has a very cool CD value, or the drag coefficient value of 0.20. And then, even more important, is the way this thing pulls, because of the power it delivers and how it delivers it. All those 1000+ torques, they are available to you right as you press down the accelerator. It does not so much as goes, it just leaps into the future. And yeah, I think EVs, while of course they don't really have the theatrics or the drama of the noise that the engines make, EVs definitely are also addictive. And when you get high-end cars like this with all the power and all the technology just packed into one solid piece of metal, that you really have to experience to know what it feels like.